Hello, my friend, Pastor Curt here, and I got a question for you. Have you ever just felt like you're at the breaking point? You're like, Curt, everyone feels like they're at the breaking point now. I mean, though, like a different level where you're like, I just don't know if I can get this done. I remember the first time I felt that way. I was on a missions trip in the Philippines. We went to go visit a hospital that had all sorts of people that had been injured by accident in the military. There was just some really heart-wrenching, very broken people. I was already exhausted from all the ministry we were doing. We'd been there for like 2 weeks. I went home to my hotel room that night and I literally got in my bed and I don't think I could get up again. I was like, I'm not sure I can go out there tomorrow. I cannot do this. That's really when I encountered the full truth of what the Apostle Paul says in 2 Corinthians 12:10. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weakness, in insults, in hardship, in persecution, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. In context here, Paul's talking about a deep wounding, a deep hardship, a thorn in his side, and the opposition that he's experienced moment after moment, day after day, season after season, unrelenting opposition with probably a deep physical wound. And he's saying, I embrace it, I rejoice in it, I brag in it, I lean into it. Why? He had discovered what it means to be released from being dependent on his own gifts, talents, and abilities. You see, when we do things in our strength, there's a limit to it. There is a breaking point on the way whenever we do things in our own strength. Think about this. My strength means my insight, my influence, and my energy. I've got to actually understand, have the right insight, the analysis in every single situation. I've got to have the right influence. I've got to know the right people, persuade the right people to do the right thing. And I've got to have the energy for that, my energy. When we go by our influence, our insight, and our energy, there is always a limit to it. And when we go by the strength of God, when we stop relying on self completely, we find out something. We find out that there's insight from God, there is influence from God, and there is energy from God we didn't know of. Think about this. What if you walk through your day and you allow God to give you insight instead of your own intellectual ability? You allow God to use His influence instead of your network, and you let God give you His energy instead of the feeble energy in our feeble physical bodies. Paul had learned through much opposition and very difficult circumstances that there is a strength from God that can only be found in weakness. I want to encourage you. Could you get to that point where you give up, you give in, and you get close to God? Where you give up, you give in, and instead of you reducing, you become stronger in His insight, His influence, and His energy. That's what I'm praying for you, my friend, that in your weakness, this would be the strongest season of your life.